As a young lieutenant, I used to tell my Marines, if we can't trust each other, we're worthless to each other. Now, this didn't mean that we were bad people or even bad Marines. It just meant that without being able to rely on each other, we couldn't move forward as a team. And over decades of professional experience and study, I learned that what I'd known intuitively as a new leader was grounded in fact. Numerous studies and real-world examples tell us trust is essential to the success of leaders and organizations. Now, certainly, some leaders may succeed without trust in the near term or serially. And even toxic leaders can lead a team to achieve their goals. I mean, heck, sometimes toxic leaders are even invited in to fix a problem or because some people don't believe there's a viable alternative. But when they step away, it's more likely they'll leave behind a legacy of dysfunction than inspiration. Leaders who foster a culture of trust create teams and build organizations that continue to thrive in their absence and after they move on. Unfortunately, extensive surveys by organizations, including Pew and Gallup, show public trust in many institutions, both public and private, has been declining starkly for decades. What the heck is trust, though? A commonly accepted definition is that trust is the willingness to be vulnerable to the actions of another with confidence they will act in our best interest. Establishing and preserving trust is a challenge, though, because while it is essential, it can't be mandated. It must be given freely, and it can be difficult to earn and incredibly easy to lose. And to make things even more challenging, there are two general types of trust. Cognitive trust, which is grounded in facts and rational thought, and affective trust, which is grounded in emotion and belief. Now, this explains in part why some people will trust or refuse to trust a leader, no matter what that leader says or does. So if we can't control trust, how can we possibly build it? The communication-based leadership framework provides a way by focusing leaders on what they can control, their own words and deeds, their credibility. See, trust and credibility are often used interchangeably, but in CBL we draw an important distinction between the two. Trust is grounded in perception of words, deeds, consistency, and alignment. Credibility is grounded in literal words, deeds, consistency, and alignment. This means trust and credibility fall into one of four general combinations. High trust, high credibility. Now, this is an ideal, rare, and precarious situation that requires deliberate effort to sustain. It's definitely not a time to get cocky or complacent. Then there's high trust, low credibility. Now, in this situation, the words and deeds of a leader or organization are seriously out of whack, and they're in danger of losing the trust that has been given to them and should take immediate action to shore up their credibility. They've got to do this before they collapse into the next category, which is low trust, low credibility. In this situation, an organization is in danger of collapse. Leaders will likely be replaced anytime, and team members may want to give some serious thought to dusting off their resumes. Now, the fourth combination is low trust, high credibility. And in this situation, either the trust is affective and unlikely to change, or the leader or organization really has their work cut out for them to demonstrate their credibility and develop that cognitive trust that they need. In each of these situations, an organization's center of gravity is the point where credibility and trust intersect, and a leader's focus of effort should be strengthening and increasing awareness of their credibility. To build and sustain trust, leaders must be credible, and to be credible, they must strive to ensure their words and deeds are consistent and aligned over time, and be both willing and able to explain any inconsistencies or say-do gaps to the satisfaction of their key publics. Now, that's a look at trust in the macro. Let's go back to the micro for a minute. At the start of this section, I said I used to tell my Marines that if we couldn't trust each other, we were worthless to each other. Now, when we think about not being able to trust, we often think in terms of whether someone else is trustworthy, but our own willingness to trust can pose a challenge as well. Remember, I said trust must be given freely and that there are two general types of trust, affective and cognitive. If leaders want to foster a culture of trust, we need to lead the way by demonstrating our own willingness to do it. We should ask ourselves if we're thinking in terms of affective or cognitive trust. Are we granting or refusing to trust based on emotion, or have we made a rational decision based on the words and deeds of the person who may receive the gift of our trust? Trust is essential to enduring leadership success, but it is a gift that has to be given freely, and when someone gives it to you, it still belongs to them. Now, as leaders, we must be willing to give the gift of our trust to others. Credibility, on the other hand, is ours to build, it's ours to preserve, and it's ours to strengthen. When leaders invest our time and effort to maintain our credibility, the odds of our receiving trust from others increase. Now think back for a moment on the 4 trust credibility combinations I just discussed. Each describes a relationship between a leader and one of their key publics, which takes us to the second enduring truth of CBL.